The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
My name is Jasmine, and I am a recovering drug addict.
My name is Richie Farrell, aka the Old White Junkie.
And we are your hosts for Exit Team Nashua.
Our mission is to bring recovery into the living room.
Last year, over 72,000 Americans died of an accidental overdose.
That's almost 200 Americans every single day.
We will bring you guests with real-life experiences with addiction and recovery. Welcome to Exit Team Nashua. Hi, welcome to Exit Team Nashua. My name is Jasmine, and I am your host. I'm really excited about tonight's show. I love Persephone. Oh my God. Persephone, you have no idea. You literally are just you, and you say and you do things and your mannerisms, and I just laugh and love you so much. Like, your presence is great.
I'm glad I can do that for you.
You do. I swear most of the time you don't even know.
I don't.
You're just you, and it's so genuine, and I absolutely love it. So I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but I totally believe we're going to have a good time.
Yes.
Cool. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's been a long time coming.
I know.
I feel.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
I feel. Bring it back.
Yes, I feel. I
Yes.
literally wanted to do that for a group the other day. Got shut down though.
Yeah.
Cool. So, show is about hope
Hope.
and how we bring, hope to others, and we primarily have people who are in recovery on the show, but truthfully, that's not you don't have to be in recovery to be on the show. You can have resources for people in recovery. You can be a trauma survivor.
Well, I hate to let you down. I'm in recovery, so.
You know what? End the show. We're done. We're done.
Sorry. In recovery. Long term, in fact. Yeah.
We met in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Or hold on, did we meet
It
before
goes
that at
back.
ARC?
Yep. ARC. You
Yep.
were upstairs. I was downstairs. I was sweating it out. You were like rocking it out. You were
Yeah.
like making t-shirts on the side of the,
Oh my God.
like smoking cigarettes outside, and you guys are like spray painting t-shirts. It's like my first. And I was so jealous because you guys could have makeup and like do your hair,
Yeah.
and I could not. And,
Yeah.
and they don't even do that in treatment anymore. Girls like can bring whatever you want. Like I had to like rock it out looking like a hot mess.
I'm really grateful that I had that experience though, because to like strip me down to the real me with
I
no
know.
mask, like that was
There was
life-changing.
so much to that
Yeah.
that we lose nowadays. But yes, and I only lasted for 5 days. That's my only stint in treatment I ever did.
I wouldn't be too jealous of those t-shirts. They said Jesus junkies.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that. But like early recovery, we're all whatever gets us by.
Yeah.
Whatever gets us by.
We literally all made these t-shirts that said Jesus junkies and rocked them everywhere we went.
Yeah.
We called ourselves the Jesus junkies. Wow. Yeah, I forgot about that phase of my life.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And then I think probably late 2015, we ended up in a fellowship together.
Yeah.
And you stayed sober and I did
Yes.
not. And then you were around for me to come back, and
Yeah.
you've been able to maintain sobriety through all of that.
And it was like so beautiful to watch though. It's been like so amazing. It's always so great. It has been a long road. I can't even believe it. Yeah, I remember, geez, when we first met and I was at ARC, I lasted 5 days. I will never forget leaving specifically. It's funny because now I work in the treatment industry. I specifically left on a Sunday so they would not let my PO know.
Yeah.
So I could run for the weekend.
Yeah.
And I got away with it for like 2 weeks. It was solid. And what my story ended up turning out as was a long run, and then them just saying, you know what, we're done. You're going back to jail. And that was October 6th of 2015.
And that's your sobriety date?
And that is my sobriety date. That was the day that it all ended. And I like willingly turned myself over because I was like so afraid I was going to die on the streets. I was like willing. That was like the first time my story is just like, I am incarcerated every time I turn around. Like, it's not every time I get high, I'm in handcuffs, but every time I'm in handcuffs, I'm high, that kind of situation. And so I like willingly turned myself over this time, walked into the courthouse and was like, please just, I'm done. I literally don't know what to do anymore. I'm done.
You've been to jail previously before that, and
Yep.
I know, I mean, I've been to jail too. I was gonna say I know lots of women, but myself as well. But we know lots of women, you know, where they're in and out of jail, and nothing shifts or changes. Like, what was it that you went to jail this time and like you got out and like you were a different person and you started behaving, acting, and showing up as a different person?
It was like a collective experience that I had. Initially I had gotten in trouble. It made national news. I was a professional model at the time. It made national news that I was a heroin dealer. And then my whole world came crashing down, and I sat in Valley Street, good old Valley Street, and all the girls heckled me. And I remember looking at myself like I came to, and I was 119 pounds, just to put that into perspective. Although I'm pregnant, I'm 180 pounds now. A little baby weight here. But and I remember like waking up and being like, oh my God, like what is wrong with me? And then like that stint, and then I got out and I couldn't stay sober, and I just couldn't stay out of jail. And the next thing you know, I'm wrapped up in the system in Massachusetts, and now I'm doing time in Framingham. And then I get out and I can't stay out of my own way. And it was just like such a blur. It was always locked up. And I started to get like institutionalized and used to it, and like it became the ultimate. But then I finally got sentenced to a year in Framingham in Massachusetts, which is kind of a wake-up call. It's nothing like I've ever experienced in New Hampshire.
It's not like Goffstown.
Oh no.
Okay.
No. I've never been to Goffstown, but I've been to plenty in county in New Hampshire. But this was like no joke. Like these girls don't mess around, and they will tell you about yourself. And I had this experience with this girl who was she was a lifer. She changed my life. She taught me a lot about myself. She opened up my mind to like mindfulness and Buddhism, and she was like straight to the point. And I haven't talked to her since I left, but haven't been able to find her. I actually think she ended up getting out. And she like changed my perspective. Unfortunately, in that year, I did not use when I was in prison. But I really didn't have like the skills. I didn't work on myself. I didn't know how to. I still had not yet been introduced to recovery. So I got out. I used again. I overdosed hard. I overdosed 3 times. The third time, I finally, they called an ambulance. The first 2 times they just like woke me up with water or whatever. And I just kept going. Like, I don't know where I was. Like, you were talking to Holly about not identifying who that person was. I really don't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like so self-destructive, but didn't know why.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I get that.
yes, around the last time, shout out to Rockingham County. They also saved my life. They sent me back to jail. The last time they sent me back though, I had been hiding that I had overdosed. They didn't know. All of these like terrible things had happened. And I was just like hiding from my truth,
Right.
as well as everyone, because I was under such scrutiny for what I had been doing and like where I was, and these articles about me, and I would read them and I'd feel so bad for myself. Now I tell my clients, would you like a balloon and a party hat for your pity party? And I'm telling you, my pity party was pretty extensive. It was pretty extensive. So like the last time around, I was just like so scared. I got the call, and she was like, I won't name her name, but she's amazing, and she's still somebody I look up to a lot. I got the call from Rockingham, and she was like, I'm sending you back, and like, I'm sorry, there's nothing else we can do. So I went to Stratford County, and that's where like my life changed. I sat there. I thought I was going to get out a lot earlier. They were like, oh, you'll just like go in for 4 months, but I was sentenced to a year upon completion of a program. I sat for 4 months just sitting there. God knew that I needed to just sit with myself. And I did this program, and I'll never forget sitting in the room. I also won't name her name, but she's also somebody who's super important to me still. And she sat across from me and she said, Persephone, are you willing to let go of the model, the face, the outward appearance? Are you ready to let that go? Because if you're not, like, don't even come. Like I had reporters calling to like do interviews with me, and then I was like feeding off of this. It was also like a drug for me. And I was like, you know what? Yes. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it changed my life.
I think it's crazy as you're like sharing on this and like reflecting on it. We look at like celebrities, right? And you think, oh, like their life is so good, but like here you were, like you had that and like you weren't okay.
I wasn't okay.
Yeah. I think that I even still do, like logically I know, but like sometimes you look at people and you're like, wow, look at what they've got going on. You know?
Yeah. It was just a big fat facade.
All right.
And it was part of my sickness of like,
yeah.
that's who I thought I was, in the sense of like my perfectionism as like a child and like needing validation. You know, I don't know who my father is. My mother wasn't present. She traveled a lot, left me with my grandmother. It was really, I was always like seeking attention outwardly, and trying to be like this perfect thing. And the only thing that I had was God given, and that was like my body and my face. And like I used that up, and it made me feel so much worse. And hence the reason I became this like heinous drug addict. I just didn't know. I still felt so alone, you know? But in the time that I was there, I stayed there. And 90 days, the only thing I really remember from that 90 days was the acceptance paragraph. We read it every single morning at 5:30 in the morning.
That's awesome. Discipline. Yep.
Discipline, yeah. And I remember crying before I was leaving, and I was like, please don't make me leave. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
I was like, please don't like make me leave. Like, I was so afraid of myself because I knew how self-destructive I was. And I was veered in like the direction of some women when I got out, and like I saw what they had, and like I wanted that. And that's actually what around the time we reconnected, because it was after I had gotten out. So like we met in ARC.
Yep.
I did a bunch of time, came back around, boom. That's when we met in a fellowship. And that's when things really started to feel like normal. I had to humble myself. I remember going to the pizza place that I got my first job at. Shout out.
The best buffalo chicken pizza.
Buffalo chicken pizza. And they like gave me this opportunity. I was straightforward with them. I was like, listen, I know you're not going to do a background check. I know that you are going to Google me. So this is what you're going to find. And it's terrible. And I promise you, I just need a chance. And I will take $8.50 an hour for that chance. And I worked for $8.50 whenever like my clients come to me and they're like, it's just not enough. I'm like, oh, honey. I was literally burning my arms, heating up slices of pizza, just sweating in this open kitchen area Fridays and Saturday nights, and just like the never ending line. And like, there was something so fulfilling about it for me. It was just like being a human again and showing up and not calling out. Yeah. And like getting a paycheck. Like all these things that I never really did that like contributed to me coming back down to earth. Yeah. Humility. Yeah. Huge thing.
Self-love, self-respect.
It was like, boom.
Yeah.
Humility hit me like hard. Hard.
So you get this job. I remember when you lived in Dover, you got an apartment, you got a roommate, and you just kept doing the next right thing.
Oh man. Yeah, I did. I just kept going. I remember I was meetings weekly, pushing through all of the above, and really running into like trials and tribulations all the time. You know, it was difficult. Like getting into like your first relationship sober, that's difficult.
Yeah. They're always difficult.
Healthy relationships. Like what? You know, navigating that, navigating friendships, navigating people that you want to draw close to and people that like, you know, you should not. Yeah. That's also hard. That was a really difficult time in my life because
there's something so exciting about the people you're not supposed to be close to, right? Yeah, it's like ooh, but I would like to do that.
But I really, really, and I like love you, and there's so much loyalty because we got sober together. But then there's certain things that you just have to like distance yourself from, and that's difficult. And there's like so many different decisions that you have to make, and like this selfishness that you kind of have to have for yourself to like make it through. Yeah, that was really difficult. But I have
recently, when when I say struggling, like not sobriety threatening struggling, but like pretty heavily like emotionally struggling, because like logically I know like you shouldn't put expectations on people, right? Like people are people. But like a lot of people that I've really looked up to, and you know, one of my co-hosts of the show is no longer with us. You know what I mean? A lot of people have, when I say chosen, I understand that like you're powerless over the disease, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of people have chosen to leave this way of life. You know, people that I have been pretty close with are engaging in really risky behaviors, and it's just like I literally have been having a pity party, you know, and like logically I know it's not true, and like I know the inventory and I know the truth in it, but I still have to go through my feels of it, and like I have to honor my feelings.
It's
that,
a
like,
grieving process.
I'm feeling abandoned, you know, like I'm feeling like I have lost a multitude of really close friends, and when I say lost, yes, some of them have died, but the other, and not that the other people have died, but like I can't engage in that. Like for me to even entertain thought processes or behaviors like that, to me that's deadly.
Oh,
because that will, and so it's just like
I
what
get that.
Yeah, like I'm
I
just
get
like,
that.
what do I do? Where do I go? Here I am now, God, what are you doing with me?
I know. And
Yeah.
then you feel very alone.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I think, you know, that's the one thing that recovery has brought for me though, is it's not my path, right? It's theirs. It's not my lesson to teach. That's God's. It's trying to do the next right thing for yourself. And I don't care what anybody says. It does not matter how long you've been sober. You can still get run over by a freight train, and like things can be super difficult, and you will fall off as far as like this like spiritual path. But I think that in itself is like, I find God in the most painful moments.
Yeah.
The loss of my mother, like
Yeah.
being able to like go spend time with her, somebody who like gave me my first drink and drug, somebody who literally lived this party life, and honestly just looked down on me for never being able to stop using drugs. I was able to find forgiveness in my heart for her, spent 6 weeks with her before she passed, and like took care of her in hospice.
I remember in 2015, like you were really concerned about your little brother, you know.
He is 15 now.
I think I saw him on your social media.
Yes,
the other
and he
day. I was
grew
like,
hair.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? The boys with the hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, he still lives in Florida, but he came to visit, and like he's so grown and he just wants to take care of me, and he's
Aw.
gonna be an uncle.
Well, you like, I know that like you were like using and had your own struggles, but I mean, from what I know of you, it seems like you've always like cared about him, wanted to protect him. Whereas he, you know, what do I do for that?
Yeah, siblings, man. I have 2 of them actually. So I have another brother, Jared, and like it's hard when you don't grow up with him because you think I'm 31, gonna be 32 in a couple days. So it's like I'm 32 and he's, you know, a teenager, and my other brother is in like his late 20s, and we didn't grow up together, and so it is a different type of connection. It's like actually something you have to like go out of your way to foster. And then like I feel as if like God placed me in this position because I need to step up, you know. We all lost our moms in one way, shape, or form, right? And trying to be there and present for them, and then showing up for myself and all these things, like it's kind of a blessing because they have different experiences with me. So my older brother, Jared, he's like, you know, when I made amends to him, it was like, just to let you know, like all I knew about your life was what I saw in the media. Good and bad, like bad at first. And even when I did well and I started doing like, you know, news things, and that was ridiculous also. But like, I'm glad that stopped. That was stupid. But I did that, and like he was like, yeah, I saw you were doing bad and terrible, and then I saw you were doing good. And like I didn't even recognize that I wasn't even tending to like my personal relationship with him. And then my little brother was 7, and he saw me just being a terrorist to my mother and her being a terrorist to me. And like I had to make amends to him for that. And that was difficult because at the time I think he was like 13, you know, and just showing up and like, yeah, I have always like it proves one thing, that we may do bad things under the influence, but underneath it all, like I say this to every like girl that I meet in recovery, like we are good people.
Yeah.
I promise you, we are good people. We want what's best for like the ones that we love. We just in that time don't know how to like the best way to like, make it happen or like communicate that. But we really do mean well. We have to get out of our own way. But what could I have really done back then in 2015 for him when I couldn't even put a couple days together?
What was his perception of it? Was it much different than yours? Or?
He didn't really, he didn't really tell me. I think it was odd and awkward for him, and I felt bad.
Yeah.
But my other brother let me know. Jared let me know all about it. He was like, yeah, And then my friends at school, like they saw you in the paper, and I was like, oh my God, this kid is really raking me over the coals right now. Did not hold back. Zero.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
They really are.
That's fine.
Anything painful and eye-opening, it's not fun going
Life-changing.
through it, but afterwards you're like, oh wow, thank you for that. Yeah.
Truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
I love your honesty. And now we all have like these great relationships. I'm not, I try my best to be present for them. Work a lot. Got my own little family.
A little nugget on the way.
A little nug.
Yeah.
He's excited about it. He's kicking me, so he's excited. It's his first time.
Yeah, it's first time on TV.
On TV. He's
Welcome.
like, yeah. Yeah.
So you do, my opinion, and I think it's pretty spot on. I think everyone would agree with me. You do a lot to help women in the community.
I try.
Yeah. Yeah. How has that like helped shape or change your life? Like if someone ever had the opportunity to give back in a way that you have, like, what would your recommendation be for that?
Oh my God, run away. It's really like emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Because like I know that like any girl who knows that I've helped and is probably watching this knows the moment when they hated me the most.
Yeah.
They hated me the most, and I didn't spare their feelings, and I was like honest with them, and they hated me so bad. And then I'm sure they also remember that moment when like a year later
They were like,
I
she's
love you,
right.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been fulfilling. I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. I look forward to what the future holds. But I couldn't, I say this to women all the time, is that you need to like pass this on, because I remember those women. You remember those women that like really made an impact in your life? Early recovery, they don't even know they did it.
Yeah.
They don't. I could literally name off 3 names right now. Bing, bang, boom, right? And like, they don't even know what they did.
Yeah.
And they changed my whole trajectory of my life.
We need more women. That's for sure. I think we need more men too. We need more people.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to say that we need way more women than we need men. Because when I sit hand all around and I know, I see it, I'm just saying.
How has helping like women changed your life?
It's fulfilling. I have like these deep and meaningful relationships with people that like you would never imagine I have. I consider some of my best friends what most people would be like, what are you doing? Like, one of my best friends lives in a transitional house for pregnant moms, and like, I love her.
That's awesome.
And I would do anything for her, right? And then Holly is also one of my best friends, and she's up here.
She's literally levitating as she's watching us.
Yeah, I don't know where Holly went, but she's there. And then, it's just, I just have like all these people and like these deep, meaningful relationships, and like they all mean so much to me, and they all have their little spaces in my heart. And like, when I've gone through some of my toughest times, like especially most recently, like I always showed up for them. And I thought that it was always just going to be me showing up for them.
Yeah. Yep.
Because like you get in this mindset where like
I have to do it.
You are Captain Seva,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden I can't show up for that. And they just start showing up out of the woodwork. And I was like, oh, wow.
Was it hard to let them love you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very hard because I'm always like the strong one. Like
Yeah.
I'm always the one saving everybody.
Yeah.
So it was like really, really hard, but super grateful for recovery, because I have these deep and meaningful, real relationships with women that like nobody could take from me.
Yeah.
And they just came out of the woodwork like.
It's crazy because women that are like doing this thing, like the heart work, this thing, like transforming their lives and helping like transform other women's lives, all of them across the board say it's like women my women relationships are it. Like my women have helped me grow. You know, and like, not that like men are insignificant, and like men are powerful beings too. You know what I mean? And men really help
But they
men.
can stick with the men.
Yeah, exactly. I know. The other day, someone was like, "Well, they are just my friends," and I was like, "You are being selfish.
They are
okay, you do not know their motives. So stay over there." So,
I know.
I don't care what you say your motives are. You don't know theirs. You know,
Yeah.
and don't even try and pretend like you do.
Don't. Just don't. I challenge you to be friends with just females for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Get back to me then.
You know, and some of the women that like I got sober with are still like some of my best, most heartfelt women today, you know, and they have been through so much with me, and with like this like weird struggle. Like my life is just completely shifting in so many ways and transforming in so many ways right now, and there's a lot of unknowns, and like it feels really uncomfortable, and like people are calling to check on me and like, hey, like how are you? I'm like, this is really gross, like leave me alone.
Girl, I can relate. I can relate. Okay, I got it.
Like I do not want to be vulnerable with anyone.
No,
okay,
no.
I'm listening to
I want to be seen as.
right.
I need you to see me as this, because I don't need you to know what's really going on behind the garage door.
I will crack and cry for days if you break through there. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I've been listening. I feel like you'll appreciate this because I remember years ago you were always posting about her, but I've been listening to Brene Brown.
Yeah.
And right now I'm listening to a podcast about leadership, and she talks about how the best leaders are like true and vulnerable leaders.
Yeah.
And so like every day I'm trying to be a little bit more vulnerable.
I don't think I could get any more vulnerable than I am right in this moment. Like in this day and time, that's about as vulnerable. Yeah. Pretty there.
It feels pretty uncomfortable still. It's something I'm working on. Something that I want to work on too. Like I feel like I needed to have like, a couple years of like really grounded and like in the trenches and like really truthfully like focused not on me, on helping others. But like now as like I'm getting later on in my recovery, I'm like, oh, you need some deep inner child healing.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah. Holly? Hello?
She's secretly up there
She
healing
needs
us.
to, yeah. She owes me a session or two, Gotta love it.
She's going to be your midwife,
Yes,
right?
well, not midwife,
Oh, what is
doula. But yeah, she is going to help me usher my beautiful child into this world, because
That's scary.
somebody's got to do it.
She's a champion.
We're going all natural. So she's
Oh,
going to be there the
God.
whole time, just like working all the energy.
There's-
all the positive energy. I can just imagine now. She's
She's-
like, Holly, please make it stop.
She's a champion.
Yes.
She will literally take that as the ultimate honor. I feel like I would run. I remember I saw my niece being born, and I was like, oof, I don't know.
Positive only here, okay? We're still not there. Positive
I love
only.
my niece more than anything now. I was like literally spending time with her and watching her grow, and her crystal blue eyes, and how she's just growing up,
Oh,
and
no,
of the
she's so cute.
interaction.
She's
Yeah.
so cute.
It's
I know.
literally, I'm so great. I literally thank God. And I saw my niece and nephew this last weekend, and I've only seen them twice in their life, and I got to spend the weekend with them, and I was like, dude, my life is so cool.
That's so great.
The show's over.
Yeah.
Goes quick, huh?
Wow, boom. Thanks, guys.
It was great. And
See
you
you
know, you
next
weren't
week.
sure you could make it 27 minutes.
Yeah.
But we went over. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Anybody that would like to connect with Persephone, just reach out to us on our Facebook page. I'm a heroin addict, and I will make sure to get the message to her. And as always, thank you for sharing your time with us.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.